all to the very first episode of Retake, where we dive into the latest action in Rainbow Six Siege Esports. I'm your host, Lisa Dwan, and I'm joined by the always stylish Parker and Tara Mackay. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm just kind of disappointed you didn't show up in your turtleneck. I was kind of expecting it.
Well, it's the summer. They're away for the summer. I've scaled down to just straight sweaters at this point. Yeah. Wool sweater, long pants. It's 30 degrees. It's fine.
Scandalous. This is just
Thank
scandal.
goodness for air conditioning.
That's right. Let's bring it back to Rainbow Six, though, because I don't know if people just want to hear about your closet and your fashion sense for the whole time. Maybe they do. But let's tell them what's going to be on the show today.
Well, there's been some changes to the Rainbow Six Global program, so we'll be diving into the regionalization of it. We can take a look at the various divisions and formats around it. We'll be recapping our top plays from the very first week of competition, and then presenting a wonderful profile in Space Station's own Rampy, courtesy of our friends at SiegeGG.
That's right, a lot of good stuff. So let's start right off with Sixplain. This is a segment where we take a concept and break it down. And in this one, we're going to be breaking down all the regions, EU, APAC, LATAM, and their new formats.
And there's one spotted inside. Oh, and he will. Oh, he got
do all the rest of the work. Here's the shot through the barricade.
But he needs to land a single bullet, and he must know that at this point to get to a close.
Whether you're brand new or someone who's followed the scene from the start, this year promises a new era for Siege Esports. Ubisoft's new regional systems shift scenes globally and change the way that players compete for a spot on the biggest stage in Rainbow Six Esports. There's a lot to look at, so let's start with one of the most successful regions, Europe. The winners of the final season of Challenger League, Team Tempera and Team Secret, will bring the new European League up from 8 teams to 10 in total. The schedule is similar to the old Pro League system. Teams will be battling it out online in a best-of-1 system week to week. As for EU Challenger League, it's now increasing to 12 teams, but adding a twist on how they qualify. Countries like France, Italy, Poland, and Russia will have their own separate national championships, offering a spot in EU Challenger League. Meanwhile, regions like the UK and Ireland, as well as Benelux, have consolidated qualifiers for Challenger League. The champions of each region will move on to CL. Pro teams are still allowed to play in their home nationals, mind you. However, the next highest placed Tier 2 team will then be awarded the spot in EUCL. The Asia Pacific League has seen some significant overhauling too, with APAC North and APAC South taking over from what used to be 4 sub-regions. The 4 unique regions from Pro League have merged. In APAC North, you'll find many familiar faces from the old Japanese, Korean, and South Asian scenes like Cloud9, Giants Gaming, and Norarengo. As for APAC South, it's been split into 2 separate divisions, Oceania and South Asia. The Oceanic Nationals will be made up of the top Australian, New Zealand, and Polynesian squads. Meanwhile, countries like India, Pakistan, and Nepal will make their professional debut in South Asia. In APAC, the regional championship, each stage determines who goes to the majors. However, APAC has its own point system to determine which teams are truly the best overall when the 6 Invitational rolls around. The always fierce Latin America scene has seen major growth and also brings about a new regional format, splitting the old LATAM into 3 separate branches. Chile, Peru, and Argentina are just some of the nations that will play in the South America division. Meanwhile, Brazil and Mexico will each have their separate leagues. In Brazil, pro teams are allowed to field academy rosters at the Tier 2 level. Orgs can also draft unsigned players to their rosters and move them between their Tier 1 and Tier 2 teams during transfer windows. Teams will battle it out in their regions each stage to qualify for the Copa Elite 6. There, the top 5 Brazilian, top 2 Mexican, and the top South American division teams will go head-to-head, with only 4 making it to the next 6 majors. Whether you're a fan of one region or all of them, the new global system will have as many thrilling plays, exciting events, and tense Rainbow Six action that you've come to love.
spotted inside. Oh, he will. Oh, he got
Do all the rest of the work. Here's the shot through the barricade.
He needs to land a single bullet, and he must know that at this point to get to a close.
Ooh, okay, so a lot of changes all around the world. Are you going to be keeping up with all the regions? I'm sure you can, right?
As best as the time zones permit, APAC is kind of tough because I'm usually asleep, but EU and NA, no problem.
No passion.
So I gotta sleep at some point.
Dish is in, Parker sleeps. Okay, well, I think you guys may have noticed that NA wasn't included in that Sixplain, but obviously we have Parker here, so I thought it'd be best to just have a conversation and ask you all the questions that I have about it. So for those who still haven't really, wrapped their head around the new format for NA, can you break it down for us?
It's a little confusing for most people, but basically North America is broken down into both the US division and the Canada division. The US division was supposed to be played in Las Vegas, on LAN, with all the teams present, etc. Unfortunately, circumstances around the globe have caused that to change. So now it's all being played online. The US division right now is 8 teams that are competing in best of 3s every week for a goal of being able to finish in the top 4 and then fight to compete for a spot at the 6 major. Canada plays once a week on Fridays. They're rotating in and out, and then the top team that wins the Canada division will then eventually fight for a spot at the 6 major. Additionally, both the US division and the Canada division are in the global program, which means that they accrue points to try and earn a spot at the 6 Invitational next year.
That's interesting. I want to get your take though. When you heard that Canada and US were going to be divided, what was your impression?
Well, I mean, I'm not patriotic, so it was nice to see that Canada was involved. That's pretty cool. I think it's great to involve new regions, and there's a lot of Canadian talent, but obviously America is huge. They're gonna have the lion's share of players. It's nice to see that Canada is getting promoted because those players that would never have an opportunity to play at this level are going to get it.
I want to also think about other perks that possibly a Canadian league for esports, because this actually isn't really seen anywhere else. I'm trying to think of other esports. There is no really Canadian focused league sanctioned by the developer, right? So Ubisoft is kind of almost like the first one building the esports scene in Canada, which is fantastic for Canadian esports. What other possible positives can come out of Canada having its own division?
I mean, I think greater awareness and greater funding is always a huge thing. There aren't a ton of giant Canadian esport organizations. The amount of Canadian talent that come out in terms of production, behind the camera, in front of the camera, that's also pretty small. It took many years until there was another Canadian on the scene in Pro League in terms of casting to join me. And even then, I was 2 years after the game had started. So by having a scene get supported this way, it's allowing new talent to get opportunities that they wouldn't have to then grow alongside the brand and the game.
And especially with Ubisoft being, based, Montreal, it just makes sense that they are the ones to kind of start this. I think it's great that esports is growing in Canada. Someone's got to do it, and Ubisoft being the first one, that's fantastic. You mentioned earlier about Canadian orgs, and I want to talk about one that actually left the scene, Team Reciprocity, obviously. So we're seeing changes, teams are leaving, but new teams are coming in. So what do you think about this whole shift and new orgs coming in, coming out? Is the scene still stable for orgs?
I would say so. I mean, the reason why Reciprocity closed down was because of economic concerns. It didn't have anything to do necessarily with our game or Rainbow Six. The one thing that I think kind of caused some sticker shock for a lot of organizations is that it's really costly and ambitious to completely relocate to Las Vegas for the LAN League. So the price of running a team is going to skyrocket. I can understand why certain organizations might be a little bit hesitant to buy into that system for the first year, but when we do go to LAN, hopefully next year, hopefully maybe later this year, we don't know when we do go to LAN, if the league proves to be successful, I can absolutely see other organizations saying, okay, the first year's passed, they've worked out any kinks there might be, I'm feeling good about this. I have no problem picking up a team.
Time will definitely tell. So, the season has already started off in NA. You've casted games, you've watched the games. How are you feeling about the season and the level of competitiveness so far?
I've been very critical of how North America tends to have bad teams at the bottom and good teams at the top. I think there's a skill disparity, but I've been very pleasantly surprised by the 2 play days that were, well, I guess technically 1 play day split on a Monday and Wednesday that we've seen so far, because the teams that I didn't think were going to do all that well did much better than I expected. So maybe North America as a whole has taken a major step forward that we haven't seen because it's been a couple months since we've seen professional play. But teams like Tempo Storm, teams like the Sonic.
Super gets the final kill, and Sonic steal map number 1 right out of Dark Zero's hands.
It drops the LOL. What else did we expect from Super though? Let's be honest. Get the LOL out there, 7-4 on Consulate. Sonics.
Even a team like Disrupt that everybody had written off before they'd even played a single match showed that they can compete with good teams. If this keeps up, North America will be a lot more competitive than I think any of us had expected.
That's really interesting. Just thinking of storylines and like how obviously Space Station are like the returning 6 defending champions, right? So we'll see if NA can, you know, keep hold of that title. In terms of broadcast though, I know the team worked really hard to make sure the show gets off the ground, and with obviously COVID, the pandemic, you guys are thrown, you know, another challenge. So how has the team and the broadcast team been really dealing with all of these challenges?
I can't speak for everything behind the scenes because I haven't been, I guess, a part of it. It's well above my pay grade. But I can't imagine having to basically do a total 180. You're prepping to be in a studio in Vegas, everybody's moving, everything's gonna be on site. I was looking to uproot my life. All of the talent was ready to relocate. And then we had to hit the brakes on everything because of what's going on in the world.
The one thing that I miss is like the body language, you know, like the stuff that's nonverbal communication. That's what I miss.
I miss the fist bumps.
Yeah.
I miss the fist bumps and the hand signals that we created anyway.
The fact that FACEIT and Ubisoft were able to get an online broadcast off the ground with as minimal issues. There were some rough spots, sure, but they've ironed most of them out for the second show already. And I think the third show that we just did on Friday was virtually flawless. Is really impressive. Frankly, I definitely thought it was going to be a rough couple weeks as they tried to get everything working. Whether it's FACEIT or Ubisoft, I don't know where the credit goes, but I've been pretty impressed actually that they've been able to fix the issues as quickly as they did.
Yeah, for sure. You guys put on a great show. But Intero, thank you so much for your insight. You guys, we have much more of that insight coming up and a feature on Rampy right after this commercial break. It was the first week of pro play, but we've already seen enough highlight reel plays to last us the season. With NA, EU, and APAC all in action, let's take a look at some of the best plays from the first week of Siege Esports. If there is one thing that FNATIC's LUSTY has proven, it's that he is a clutch god. Up against Giants Gaming on Clubhouse and in a 1v4, LUSTY pulled off one of the slickest clutches of the weekend.
So maybe this aggressive roam game coming out of FNATIC has slowed Giants down, but now that Giants have dealt with it, they know there's only 2 left on site potentially, and they can try and win these fights. What a great swing coming out of Luna. Finds one, it's all down to LUSTY by himself, takes a couple of shots, he's down to a third of his HP. Has got to do what he can. Amazing C4! It's a double kill! Huge from LUSTY! What?
LUSTY, the clutch god from ANZ. A C4 thrown over the top to take out the planter, and then a nice little spray with the Vector. Unbelievable. What a clutch.
Space Station Gaming's BOSCO won it in on the clutch action as well this week. Under fire by E-United players on Theme Park, BOSCO pushed his way through to the diffuser, one player at a time.
1v3. He'll find one, but he's stopped by a castle barricade, soft wall to his left. If he needs to, he can play off of these pings. But very smartly, United have moved over towards the bathroom. They'll get the diffuser down. Tracers through the wall as BOSCO will just shrug off the play. He's got a castle barricade that's keeping him from being able to head on in. And because he chose that bulletproof, he can't break down that barricade with ease. They'll know that he's coming from a mile away. This should be a very easy hold for E-United, despite Grixer's low HP. They'll continue to fire away. BOSCO with one shot. He just needs to know where callout is in a heads-up gunfight. These two gentlemen will be fighting for supremacy. Will Space Station take the lead? BOSCO peeks around the corner. No, my goodness! How does he make that work? But he's going to have to find the diffuser. He's got 7 seconds to do it. He'll get on it. He'll have plenty of time. Good Lord, Space Station. And BOSCO, well, he'll do it yet again.
Disrupt Gaming's Nyx has had a bit of a rough series against Oxygen Gaming last week. Nyx used banned skins and it cost his team several times. Issues aside, CG needed Nyx to come up big on Consulate to push them onto match point, and he delivered.
Mistake. I don't know if you saw, one of her gadgets got eaten alive by a Wamai gadget, and then she missed the second one as Vertical couldn't land his shots, but he lands that one just as well on the shuttle, as there were 2 kills from Foxay. Nyx, a beautiful dagger into the heart of Laxing. And now looking for another, this time on the Biologic. DG is going to trail in numbers, but make it even as the repel play with 40 seconds left is going to be crucial. Their slash out on the balcony to take out NJR, and it's Nyx looking to be able to push his team to match point. They'll just need to watch the windows as the members from Oxygen will be very vulnerable when they push into the bomb site. And a beautiful shot from Nyx fires onto the window. It's Bio versus Nyx in a 1v1. The wall soft next to Nyx. Disrupt have an opportunity for the match point, and they'll take it. A massive play from Nyx to redeem himself.
Cantor Ricchetti is an absolute monster. As long as he's alive, he's a danger to the server. So when G2 played their first match against Rogue, you knew something wild was going to happen. And Kanto delivered with this ace.
The alarm is Kanto looking to push in through China potentially. Just checking Mod, and there's the kill onto Aces. Nice one there. Tame these roamers. G2 looking to be in a prime position. Couldn't take out the default cam. Bit of a whoopsie, but that's all right. Now your cameras are mine, says Dakavi. Uses that tablet to hack into the defensive cameras. Rogue needs to be over their shoulder after that one. G2 in the driver's seat here, but when will this execute come about? There's plenty of time to make it happen.
I like how they're playing this very controlled game so far. Very drone heavy, very much based around these Intel operators, but Kanto's popping off in this round. Already got himself 3. Can he make it the final 2 to get the ace? But behind him, Tengu is going for the plant. It was Ace's last round working the magic. This time around it's Kanto.
No way!
Ace. What more do you need to see from this man? From the first flick onto Ace's head in the opening door all the way through. That's how you drag a team through and say, Aces who, sorry?
Ever since being unbanned, Na'Vi fans have been eager to see Doki unleashed in the EU League. He wasted no time walking into the basement on Oregon and cleaning up team secrets.
It's about all these fights going on in different places around here, but it does look like Na'Vi have made the choice to go for a more north side push as Doki charges his way through. Prano's removed from Freezer. Doki finds another one. 3 kills in 1 round for him. Can Hive do enough to hold on here and close it out? I don't think he can. He gets 1 down. No, he doesn't. He lay down. I thought he'd down him, but Doki finds a 4K. And that is a massive way to bring this all the way up to the final round.
Pay close attention to this next clip because it's a wild one. We've got the Sonics and Dark Zero on Consulate. Easily picks up a 3K in the round before Hyper stops him with the 4K. But what Iconic does next is amazing.
Still have Sonic's members like easily inside of Circle Desk. He'll rip the head off a Min outside, so that's going to be 1 body down for one of those post-plant situations. Hyper with another kill here. He hasn't lost anything since the last time he played a competitive game, I can tell you that much. Iconic might be the next one to challenge outside. Has the backpack on, but it's easily with a triple kill, warming up after Hyper shuts him down with his own, and that's a quad kill on the round. It's all left up to Iconic in this 1 versus 2. Swings back across, but did he see him? He did. Plenty of bullets into him. Plenty of damage done to both. Iconic, this is your moment. Win it out. Hyper choosing to see if he's going to plant or not. Pre-fires with the K1A, switches over, goes for the impact and the drop. But does he know what happened? Goes for the stick. 5 seconds. Has to find them at the door, and Iconic does it!
And those were the best plays from week 1 of Siege Esports. It was a wild start to the stage, but since it's only week 1, we're only getting started.
It took almost 2 years of grinding, but Space Station Gaming finally broke free in North America. They took their first ever major LAN win at the US Nationals, placed first in the final season of Pro League, and then had a miracle comeback for the ages to win 6 Invitational 2020. All eyes are on both SSG and one of their standout stars, Nathan Rampy Duval. Rampy is a member of the R6 scene, having played for the likes of Omen and Noble Esports before joining up with Space Station in 2018. He's been with SSG through the ups and downs for 2 years now. The team is consistently winning qualifiers, but they could never quite reach the top on LAN.
Rampy knows it. Look at his face. Come on. It doesn't matter. G2 is there. Rampy, the impactless frag. He's upset, but G2 look to repeat, and they punch a ticket to the semifinals. If only there were a couple more seconds.
When Canadian joined last September, he turned SSG on its helmet. The team finally found the piece they needed to break free. That's when Rampy really, well, ramped things up for Space Station.
Right, not commonly where you would see him. It normally would be a roamer. Rampy finds a triple kill, and this is a way to make a name for yourself in the first round.
Rampy is an absolute demon, and he's on a tear from round number 1. The potential for an ace is still there. The potential for an ace is real. He will get 1 onto Pulse. He has to go 1 versus 5. He won't be able to. And Rampy finishes things off.
Rampy was an exceptionally valuable player at OGA Pit last year, and despite finishing 2nd overall, Rampy dropped the most kills with a solid 129 to only 84 deaths. Rampy was named the MVP of SI 2020 after Space Station's win. He finished with 168 kills, a 1.2 rating, and 34 kills with only 24 deaths on entry. An impressive stat to be sure. Rampy led Space Station in almost every single stat line at the 6 Invitational. Running hot off of SI, Rampy then led North America with a whopping 74 kills, objectives, survives, and trades. And it led the way to Space Station Gaming's first Pro League season win. While SSG's dominance is fresh, it's a huge advantage Rampy will have for a shot at the #1 spot this year. It's hard for anyone to go stat for stat with Siege GG's #1 player Shaiko. The Frenchman is truly a one-of-a-kind player. However, Rampy's play, combined with the hardware he's racked up, made him a very solid choice for second place in 2019. If he can somehow improve on his already phenomenal play, and SSG can continue to win events, don't be surprised to see Rampy taking top spot in the world by the end of year 5.
Approaching the end of our show, and we thought what better way to end it than with some predictions, our favorite thing to do, and the internet as well, of course. So this is how it's gonna work. Intero and I will brainstorm a bunch of predictions that will happen this year in Rainbow Six, and it can range from anything. So like anything in game, anything out of game, tournament winners, new game change, anything is fair game. And then once we have enough predictions, we're gonna randomly generate them onto a bingo card. And then at the end of the year, we're gonna figure out who has the most bingo lines completed, and that person will win, okay? So let's kick it off. Intero, why don't you just throw one out there? Crazy.
Something real crazy to start off with. Okay. A professional team picks the operator Fuse and plays them at least one round this season. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna go with a really safe one and say Canadian cries on stage this year. And I do not specify whether it's happy tears or sad tears. That's not a bad one. Should that be your free space? Oh my goodness. Come on. I joke, I love Canadians. You know, Canadians are friend. Another player forgets and uses another band skin. Oh no. It's very likely though, I will say that, yeah. Right? It could happen. It could happen. We don't want it to happen, but. So another player screws up and runs a band skin. Yeah. Okay? That's a good one. Is it Always who plays on Empire now? I believe he took the spot of Karzeka. Always is his name. He'll be the Rookie of the Year. Ooh, okay. That's my prediction. That's your prediction. Kickstarter cuts his hair this year. Oh. But I think that is probably the hottest take. That's a pretty hot take, I will say that. Right? I will say that. Watch he actually cuts his hair. I would be like the new prophet. This is gonna be a bold one. I'm ready. Oregon is the most played map in all regions this season. In all regions? Like when you add up all the maps across all the regions, I think Oregon. Let's say Oregon is gonna be the #1. All right, I think we have a lot of predictions. We'll gather these and generate them into a bingo card, but of course we want you guys involved too. We want you guys to send us your predictions. You can obviously tweet us individually or tweet us on our socials, WatchRetake, okay? If any of them are good, we'll bring them into a Parker's bingo card, because I don't know if I want them on my bingo card, but we want to hear your predictions, all right? Make sure to send it to us. Okay, that's it. That's it for our first episode of Retake, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.